I'd been to the World Cup in Rossland, and I knew the best of the best of the best, and I could see myself doing it. I knew I could run the course because I had been given that chance, but it was now time to pick it up. And as I thought of the Alpine ski team, I thought of these mountain men as I used to think of them, and these world-class women. And then there was Butch Boutry. Yes, Butch Boutry. Even saying the name Butch sounds tough. I'm Jungle Jim Hunter, and you're listening to 831 Living Your Best Life podcast, inspiring participation, communicating precision, and empowering performers to podium. And I hope you will tell your friends and family to go to their favorite podcast provider or to junglejimhunter.com and click on subscribe, download, and like and rate and review this podcast and pass it on to your friends. The whole idea here in this podcast, 831, is to thank the 831 people that gave me the best life ever, and I hope you will live your best life. Well, when I wanted to become a ski racer, I was told I was too late, I was too big, I was too aggressive, I was too hard on the snow, I had no touch on the snow. And then I saw Butch. The first image you get of Butch skiing is a bowling pin turned upside down, shoulders that make shoulder pads look like they're small, and Popeye arms that would explode a cast just flexing them. He had hands that were as rough as a dried pair of old leather gloves, and a smile that just made you want to hug him. Yep, that's Butch. And when I saw him skiing at Kootenay Glacier, it was silent. He had the touch of a feather on a snowflake, and he was fast. His entry and exit to every turn was delicate like a bubble floating, yet carving. He'd look at you, he'd kind of snarl, and then he'd say, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" He reminded me instantly of my dad without all the questioning. Dad was tough. Butch was tough. And my dad and I used to arm wrestle. And I tried when I was a little boy, and I tried every day to try and beat him and turn the tables on him and see if I could ever beat my dad at an arm wrestle. And it was like wrestling with a bear, and you were reminded that you wanted to make sure you didn't give up before he quit. "Are you ready?" he would say. I'd gone to the Pontiac Cup races and seen him at the NORAMs and FIS races, and I'd run into him at airports. And every time he would say, "Are you ready?" And I started to decide I had to turn it around on him. And so I grabbed him and I said, "Let's go. Let's see how tough you are." I thought he would snap my arm like a twig. Instead, we put our hands up on the table and we fought. And we fought. And we fought. He may have been big, he may have been strong, he may have been powerful, he may have been fast, but so can I be. And whenever we went to a race and it was bad weather, we'd be sitting in the day lodge waiting to decide whether the course was going to go, and somebody would start yelling, "Are you ready?" And Butch and I would look at each other, hold our forearms up, and go, "Are you ready?" The racers watched. It inspired them. It empowered them. And it empowered me, and it made me make sure I knew that I was ready. Are you ready to face? Are you ready to fight? Are you ready to step forward, step up, step in? The smile on Butch's face told me he was ready, and you better be too. And you didn't need any more words. You just said, "Are you ready?" We gripped and locked hands and went at it. That day on Kootenay, I knew what I had to do to go from being a boy to a man the first time I arm wrestled him. I'm going to be. No, let me rephrase that. I'm going to beat a mountain man. Butch was my dad on the ski hill. My dad never saw me race, but Butch gave me that confidence. He would fill a spot I wanted my dad to fill because he challenged me on what I needed. My body shivered upward and downward and outward and inward, every direction, every time he raised his forearms and clenched his fist and would say, "Are you ready?" One of my favorite memories was in the Frankfurt airport, and I saw him coming through the terminal, and I yelled and held up my arms, "Are you ready?" And there in the terminal, we put our forearms on the table in front of one of the restaurants, and we flexed and we gripped and we went at it. My quote for the day, "You are ready when it seems impossible, but you have decided it's where you have to be." My personal dare all this week is give yourself a spine shiver once each day on no particular order. Help someone you do not like. Start something you have always wanted to do. Make one step toward your next dream. Inspire someone else to move toward their next dream. Tell someone you love what they do that makes you shiver. Tell all your children and grandchildren what they do that makes you shiver in a positive way. And number 7, forgive someone that has hurt you deeply and move on. Why? Because you have the power to. Because you're ready to. Because it's what you need to do, even if it seems impossible. Butch, well, I don't know if I ever beat him or if he just played with me and let me think I won. But it didn't matter because it kept me sharp knowing that at any moment I had to be ready to race or wrap his knuckles. Butch, are you ready? I'm ready. Appreciate you listening. Thank you for listening to the podcast. I hope you will have grown before we meet next time.